Hello there, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Naga Munchetti and John Kay.
Our headlines today. The last official day of COP26, the head of the UN says far from enough has been announced, but hope remains until the last moment.
As time runs out to reach a deal, we have a special report this morning from California, where the devastating effects of climate change are already being felt.
Crossing the Channel in record numbers. 1,000 migrants arrive in the UK on a single day.
Good morning. More fallout now from the scandal at Yorkshire Cricket Club over the racist treatment of former player Azim Rafiq, with the chief executive of the club, Mark Arthur, the latest senior figure to resign.
A windier day across the country today with some rain at times, but the weekend is looking largely dry. I'll have your forecast.
Sticks at the ready. Today is the day Owain starts his 24-hour drumathon for children in need with the help of some celebrity friends.
Good morning. It's Friday, the 12th of October. There's still a monumental challenge ahead. That's the warning as negotiators enter the final day of talks at the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow.
Yes, the conference's chairman, Alok Sharma, made the comments as it emerged last night that there's still no agreement on how countries will limit greenhouse gas emissions. As Graham Satchell explains.
We are calling on world leaders to grasp this final chance.
It is crunch time at the Glasgow conference. Protesters making it clear the outcome couldn't be more important, a matter of life and death.
Time is running out. We are not there yet on the most critical issues. There is still a lot more work to be done.
That work is going on in quiet corners, the draft agreement pored over line by line by every country in the world. So what still needs to be decided? The most fundamental question, cutting greenhouse gases. They're still going up when the science is clear they need to be falling. Financial aid for the poorest nations. It was promised more than a decade ago, but still hasn't been delivered. And how often countries should update their plans for going green? Should it be every year? There have been some successes. A plan to cut methane, although not all countries have signed up. A call to end the use of coal, the dirtiest fossil fuel, but again, no binding agreements. And an assurance to end deforestation by 2030. Will it happen?
We don't believe that promises made by financial companies to end deforestation will actually prevent trees from being cut or burnt down. We simply don't believe it. I'm actually here to beg you to prove us wrong. We desperately need you to prove us wrong. Please, prove us wrong.
Another protest as climate activists sound the alarm. The worry for these protesters that there's no agreed date for ending the use of oil and gas.
The fact that we are not talking about phasing fossil fuels, even at any stage, to us indicates that the process has fundamentally failed, because that is probably the largest issue we have to confront. It's not even on the table.
This morning, a warning from one of the key advisory groups to the conference that what's been agreed so far won't be enough to stop temperatures rising. Graham Satchell, BBC News.
Let's talk to our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming, who's been in Glasgow for the whole duration of COP26. Adam, it feels like every day we've been hearing, haven't we, need to do more, not enough has been done so far, and we're on the last official day and we're still there.
Yeah, the arguments, Naga, haven't really changed for the last few days, and they're still the same on this final day, although veterans of these conferences say they tend to run on. So this might only be the second last day, or maybe in an extreme case, only the third last day. So get ready for that. What we were expecting this morning at 4 o'clock was an updated draft of the final agreement, which summarises all the pledges that have been made here. We've already had one version. This was going to be the next one. And it would be an opportunity to see what things had been added in, what things had been taken out, where ambitions had been lowered, where people had decided to go a bit further and a bit faster. It has not appeared, and it's now gone 6 a.m. So everyone is frantically refreshing their laptops and their phones to get that document, so we can then compare the two to get a sense of what arguments have happened behind the scenes. But we kind of know what the arguments are because we just heard them there. It is, how ambitious should countries be about cutting their greenhouse gas emissions? How often should they come back to conferences like these and update their plans? Should it be every year rather than every 5 years? Will they eventually get to that goal of sending $100 billion a year from rich countries to poorer countries to help them deal with climate change, along with a whole load of technical things to do with the Paris Climate Change Agreement that was signed in 2015, details that still have not been ironed out 6 hours later. In terms of what happens today, we'll get this draft. There'll be a whole load of discussion about that. I think the negotiations will probably end with a few key people in a few rooms, not all 197 countries who are here. And then the plan is, in an ideal world, they'll all get together at 6 p.m, sign off that document, a few others, and then Alok Sharma, the COP president from the UK, will bang his gavel like a judge, bang, and say COP26 is over. That's the plan anyway.
Well, let's hope that bang is done with some success behind it. Adam, I know you're going to be talking to Nicola Sturgeon, First Minister of Scotland, of course, a little after 8 o'clock, so we'll see Adam back then.
Let's look at some of this morning's other news, shall we? And around 1,000 migrants are believed to have reached the UK after crossing the English Channel by boat yesterday. That is a record figure for a single day.
The Home Office has described the number as unacceptable. Simon Jones has more.
Arriving by boat in record numbers. Group after group of migrants were escorted ashore yesterday by 5 lifeboats and 4 Border Force vessels. Home Office officials had hoped the onset of autumn would see a big decline in the number of people making the crossing, but a period of calm and mild weather has meant that hasn't happened. Yesterday, around 1,000 people made the journey, 150 more than the previous highest figure for a single day. It brings the total for this year to more than 23,000 migrants arriving by boat. But the numbers arriving by lorry are comparatively small, and in the past year, asylum claims in the UK actually fell by 4%. It's a dangerous crossing navigating the world's busiest shipping lane. A spokesperson for the Home Office said the British public had had enough of seeing people die in the Channel, while ruthless criminal gangs profited from their misery. France is insisting it is preventing a large proportion of the crossings. Last week, it received the first tranche of the £54 million promised by Britain to increase patrols on the beaches of northern France. But the UK has said further money is dependent upon results. And a Whitehall source has accused the French authorities of totally losing control of the situation. Simon Jones, BBC News.
Just want to bring you some news that's coming through related to that as well. The French Coast Guard has said that 3 migrants are missing after attempting to cross the Channel on kayaks yesterday. The search for them, which began in the early hours of this morning, was suspended last night. 54 people were rescued from incidents throughout the day. So the Coast Guard was informed that many boats were in difficulty off the north. Operations are going to continue to look at them. Several nautical and air resources were deployed, but at the moment we know that 3 migrants are missing.
8 minutes past 6, and the husband of Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe has said that he came away from a meeting about her continued detention in Iran with no hope last night. Now,
Richard Ratcliffe has been on hunger strike for 20 days and has accused the British government of not doing enough to secure his wife's release. A Foreign Office spokesperson said Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister was pressed on the issue during face-to-face talks.
A close advisor to the Prince of Wales has stood down as chief executive of one of his charities. Michael Fawcett has resigned from his post at the Prince's Foundation. It follows claims that he helped secure a knighthood and British citizenship for a Saudi billionaire who donated to the charity. He had temporarily stepped down when those allegations were first made back in September. Clarence House has said Prince Charles had no knowledge of that alleged offer.
A 9th person has died as a result of last Friday's crush at the Astroworld Music Festival in Texas. Bharti Shahani, a university student, was 22 years old. Police are investigating the stampede when fans pushed towards the stage during a performance by the rapper Travis Scott. Hundreds of people were injured.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.